I would like to do a toast. I'm gonna do some little ASMR, start off the year right. Wait, that's actually kind of satisfying. Okay. Definitely didn't get that far in, but it's okay. We will move on. I will be holding, not really holding the mic. This is a really tall tripod. I feel like this was a mistake to have this. Yeah, this was a mistake to. I'm gonna try to use a different one. We're not off to a good start for this podcast. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, and we're back. I guess, I think. You can see the bed sheets in the background, but you know what? I will fake that. I'm new to this is so weird. I don't know why I'm not streaming like all my YouTube videos, but for some reason the podcast has to be different. But I'm excited. Okay, let's just get into it. Hi guys, welcome to my podcast, Manchester Anna. I'm your host, Ananda Cash, and it is 2022. Happy New Year's, everyone. The reason why I feel like, well, first of all, I haven't filmed a video. Well, okay, spoiler. I'm already getting ahead of myself. Okay, so this is so weird. Okay, I have to look. Do I have to look at the, whatever. So, I'm a mess. I'm leaving every bit of this in because this is my podcast and I get to this is a safe space for me. And if you don't like flaws, then leave. You might not also like yourself because every human has flaws, but that's the point. Anyway, hi guys, welcome back to my podcast. If you haven't noticed, the first, there's a lot of changes gonna be happening with podcasting, YouTube, and everything. So I'll just get into the changes that I'm doing with everything. So first, Happy New Year's, everyone. I am recording this on January 5th. It is 2 birthdays today. It is my great grandmother's birthday. She's deceased. And my friend Erin's birthday. So happy birthday, Erin. She's 23. Speaking of 23, I had that segment planned in my head that I was going to do that, and I exactly did it. Speaking of 23, I'm also turning 23 this year. Not today, but in June. Yeah, I'm turning 23 in a few months, and I used to be terrified of the fact that I age. to put in short terms, I could not grasp the understanding that I'm getting older. Getting older when you're young. I don't know if I went in depth with this before, but basically I had this whole idea that there's no uniqueness to aging in a sense, numbers wise. When you're from the ages of your birth to 21, I felt there's a bunch of unique birthdays, and then once you hit 21, after that you only have after 25 you only hit a unique birthday every 25 years, 25, 50, 75, 100, blah blah. Because decade birthdays 30, 40, 50, 30, 40, 55, 60, decades and half decades, I feel they're the same. They're cliches to me. That's how I see it. And the thought of aging after I hit 21, I was like, damn, this is it. I was like, this is it. This is what the hype was all about. I mean, I didn't get to do my 25th birthday the way, we're not going to get into that. I didn't get to celebrate everyone, the typical 21-year-old would. And I'm not talking about getting drunk. I'm talking about us having a party. I'm talking about being able to celebrate it because COVID happened and we were still under lockdown at my 21st birthday. But I already have a whole podcast about that, about what I did. Still grateful for what my family did for me because, it was in lockdown. They did the best they could. But yeah, I have a whole podcast episode about that. So if you want to listen to it, it is the episode titled I Cried on My 21st Birthday, and you can listen to that. So I'm getting into the changes for the podcast. So I mentioned it a little bit in the beginning of this, but I do something different with my podcast. So the first thing that's different is I have a new art cover. And this art cover, I was working on it with 3 weeks with one of my best friends, Jess. She's my ex-co-host. Well, she was a co-host not in training, but like it was questionable if I wanted to make her a co-host for real. And like it was fun when we were co-hosts when we were at college, but I think she has her own like creative aspects that she wants to do, and I have mine. And doing the podcast together, it would have worked, but not to the extent of like having a schedule, being consistent with it. Like it wasn't like we wouldn't be able to, like our schedules will like not be compatible with each other. So that's why we decided not to continue as co-host. But she will be on the podcast very often whenever she's available, and that's that. In fact, I plan on recording an episode with her very soon, so you will see her in this episode soon. And if you don't know who she is, if you haven't seen my videos or you just don't know who she is, I only post her on my platforms like Snapchat, Instagram, my YouTube videos. So if you don't know who she is or what she looks like, you'll see her, you see her interactions in that podcast episode, which is coming up, which I'm very excited for. But yeah, so I have a cover art and it was done by her. We was working on it for like 3 weeks, I would say, and it came out. It is literally so cute. Like it's like I am not artistic in the sense of like drawing. Like I think I would be one of the people that would have to take like in art class. I never liked art specifically only because I wasn't good at it. Like I liked the art teacher that I had in like middle school. I didn't take art. No, I did take art in high school, but she was a little. I only took art for a few years. I think a year or two, but that teacher threw a ruler at someone's face. We're not gonna get into that. Yeah, she got really angry at her class and she broke a ruler and the ruler hit one of my friend's nose, and that was really funny. It didn't like cut her nose or anything, but like it hit the tip of her nose and she was like, that could have come out worse. But yeah, it was crazy. But anyway, I'm not that very good with drawing, so she was actually just as actually an art major. Well, one of the majors that she did was art history, and she's good at art. She's good at drawing. She draws like anime a lot. Not does anime, but like she draws like anime characters a lot. So I asked her to do it, and she was gladly able to do it. So that cover art is a good props to her. So thank you, Jess, for doing that. I really appreciate it. And it was really fun working with her. And I'm like, this is just the beginning, girl. Like, this is the beginning of us working together on future projects. Like, when I write graphic novels, or when she wants to write a graphic novel, we're going to work together. We're going to have so many, like, projects together. Because she draws, I write. Perfect combo, you know? So, yeah. And that's that. That's the first new thing. The next thing is I'm going to be adding a video aspect to my podcast. I'm going to be doing videos, so I'm going to still post the audio. Like, obviously, you need the audio to podcast. But the two podcasts that I listen to, well, now I listen to three, but, well, I listen to a whole bunch. But the one I listen to the most often, my favorite podcast is Zane and Heath Unfiltered. If you don't know who those people are, they are two YouTubers. Well, actually, no. Zane and Heath are the, like, main host. And then they have co-hosts, which is the main hosts are Zain Hijazi and Heath Hussar. They're both YouTubers from this other YouTube group called the Vlog Squad, and they're like the funniest. To me, honest, in my opinion, Zain is the funniest one out of the whole Vlog Squad. Like point blank, period. He is, to me, he's the funniest one, because like every single one of his videos when he would post on YouTube, every single video made me laugh. Like every single one. Like I couldn't even deny. Like David is another YouTuber. His videos made me laugh too, but like I haven't been watching his videos lately. But like Zayn always made me laugh. And then him with Heath, they're best friends. And then him with Matt, they're also best friends. Another YouTuber named Matt King. I'm just like name dropping here. I'm sorry if you don't know who these people are, but they're just a bunch of YouTubers that I watch. And so the people in the podcast, I got off topic. The people from Zayn and Heath Unfiltered is Zayn Hijazi, Heath Hussar, and then their co-hosts, Matt King and Mariah. I forgot her last name. And you would think I would look it up to find out what her last name was, but I'm being lazy, so I'm so sorry, Mariah. I do love you, though. She my girlie. Anyway, but yeah, those are the four people that are on those podcasts, and they have a video display for the podcast. So they have the audio that they post, I think, on Mondays, and the videos they post on Tuesdays. And then another podcast that I just recently started watching is called Dropouts. They have 3 hosts, and they also have, I think they have audio. They have audio and video. I don't know if they post it on separate days or not, but they also have a video aspect to their podcast. And the reason I never wanted, it's not that I didn't think it was a good idea, but I just didn't know if I'd be interesting enough to look at it. I didn't think, because like when I do my podcast, I literally can do them like at the minute I wake up, or like I'm just recording I'm looking like a bum. So I'm like, I don't know. And it was only one person because like with the podcast that I watch, it's multiple people interacting. So it's like the angle changes. So it was like with my podcast, it would just be me. Like you're just looking at me just talk for like 30 minutes to an hour. So I'm like, is that, and it's just one angle the whole time? Like I could do different angles, but then that would involve more editing. And I want my podcast to be chill because I have too much stuff going on in my life to have another thing added to it. Like my plate's full. I can't add any more. So I want my podcast to be a chill place for me, a chill platform for me. So just looking at my face, you would think that like I want a chill platform, but then I add a video aspect that adds editing. But I'm not really gonna edit this that much. I'm probably, if anything, I'll probably just add like zoom ins, maybe a few edits if I have the time. But like I want to be like really laid back and just chill. So yeah, so those are the two major like changes for the podcast. Is a video. I'm not adding video, and then now I have a new cover art. I didn't like. I don't know if I made a new season announcement, but like I'm wearing season 3 of this podcast, which is kind of weird because I've been doing this. I've been basically podcasting for like a year. Well, a year going into 2 years. Guys, I started December 2019, I think, and now it's January 20. No, that's a lie. I started December 2020, I believe. Yeah, December 2020. It wasn't consistent at all. I tried being consistent during the spring semester of 2021, but then graduation happened, and I was done with school for a little bit, and yeah. So, now we're gonna be consistent. And I know I kept saying that, like, I kept thinking it, whatever. I'm gonna be consistent with this. And also now we're gonna talk about other changes. So another change that I'm doing with my content in general is YouTube. I might make a video. I don't think I'm gonna make a video about it on YouTube, to be honest. I made a post on my Instagram story. I post on my Instagram story a lot more now. Like it's really fun. I wanna treat it as my Snapchat, but my Snapchat listen, my Snapchat stories be wild. Like I don't be like acting the fool, but like I really be not vulnerable, but like I really be like out here like looking like a hoodlum, being like, hey, just doing my hair. Like that's for like the real. Like I think like maybe 20-30 people watch my Snapchat stories, but like on my Instagram, it's like I think the most people that have watched one of my stories is like almost exactly 100, or like maybe like 90 something, and I was like, whoa. To me, that's a lot. So I was like, oh, okay. So like my Instagram stories have more people watching them. So it's like it's a pro and a con because I'm like, oh, cool. I get to like I want to treat my Instagram as a Snapchat story, but at the same time, because more people watch it and more people have access to watch it, I'm like, ugh. So like I have like a close friends section. So I'm like, okay. But yeah, so I posted on my Instagram story about how I am going to be posting on YouTube twice a month, as in every other week, because the amount of times I've tried to post weekly content on YouTube and have failed solely because of school, because I'm still in school. And with school, it is a priority, but at the same time, I generally do love making YouTube videos, and I think the more I've been in school, the more I've grown a love for it, and I wanted to treat it almost as like a priority as well, because I want to start making money off of YouTube soon at some point, because I'm at the age where I need a job, and I want my job to be something I'm passionate about. We can get to a whole other podcast episode about like jobs and but there's certain topics that like I definitely would love to have a person there to talk to just have the banter, like the back and forth, and I have another person's like opinion about it, which will be mostly just because she probably has the free time now. But yeah, so this will be a whole other podcast episode, but I want YouTube to be a job. And it's like with YouTube, this is a little tangent, but like I have always been like hesitant to be like, oh, like I would love for YouTube to be a job for me one day. And I feel like a lot of people, there's like, oh, like I never wanted to like random thing. I never wanted to like pray about like, oh, like I want my YouTube to blow up, because I feel like it's a selfish thing to ask for. But it's like I'm not asking for it to be selfish, because I want people to know who I am, and I want to be famous, and I want people to like me. It's more of just I just want to have financial stability, and I want my financial stability to be something that I care about, that I actually like, and that doesn't like I don't want to have a job that makes me miserable, because we already got enough misery in life. I don't need to add more. You know what I mean? So I want to have a job that I actually like, and YouTube was that idea. But like I can have a 9 to 5 job if I absolutely like it, if it's in my field, if it's something creative, and I'm down for it. Because I feel like creative people, Is there an Amber Alert going on? That was weird. I feel like it sounded like an Amber Alert going on. Okay, I think my phone didn't have an Amber Alert going on, but I don't know. Okay. Anyway, moving on. What was it? That literally made me forget what I was saying. I think I was talking about YouTube and about how like I didn't want to seem greedy because I want to blow up on YouTube just so I can have financial stability and be able to like have an income. That's literally the reason why. It's not like I'm only doing YouTube to make money. I'm doing YouTube because I love YouTube, but I would love to make money off of YouTube just so I can have, because I feel like with having a job and financial stability, for me it would like have a weight lifted and like less things to stress about. So I'm not gonna go into too much details because I don't have to. I'm not gonna get into details about that. But it would just, having YouTube as a job will just like, I'm not saying I'm struggling financially. It's not that. It's other things that I just don't want to talk about because that involves mentioning other things and I don't want to talk about it. So yeah. But the prime thing about posting on YouTube is consistency, and because posting a video every single week while also being a full-time student, those two, without like having to pull all necessarily every single time I had to edit a video, it's like if I want to get like, you can't be a consistent YouTuber and full-time student in school and have sleep. Like you can't have all three. You gotta like have two of the three. And if I don't get sleep but I'm thriving on YouTube and I have school, eventually I'm gonna burn out and I'm gonna end up like, so I'm like, because like sometimes I get like 5-6 hours of sleep and that's not enough. That you definitely I'm supposed to get 8 or 9, but whatever. But like if I was like really consistent with YouTube and school, we talking about I would get like 2-3 hours of sleep when I have to edit and stuff like that, and we don't want that. We don't want that because then I'm either gonna be grumpy or other things. So we don't want to see that. So that's why I'm gonna be posting. I want to be consistent, but I want to make a schedule that fits with my life, which is why I'm posting on YouTube every other week. However, technically, I'm posting YouTube videos every other week, but I'm still posting on my YouTube channel every week because my podcast videos I will be posting on my YouTube channel. Now, I was thinking about making a podcast channel, but to be honest, I only have 75 subscribers on my channel, so it doesn't make sense for me to, and also like very few people listen to this podcast, so it doesn't make sense to me to make another channel. I don't have enough people listening to this podcast for me to make a separate channel for it. Now I could just, and also I'm the host, so it's like when I make money off this, it's still gonna go to me either way, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, so I will just be posting the podcast videos on my YouTube channel as well, but I'll have like a playlist separate for podcast videos, so that way if you want to like go to the podcast videos, you can just find the playlist. So on my YouTube channel, I think I made it to where I'm posting on the 2nd and 4th week of each month, and then my podcast I'll post the 1st and 3rd week of each month. The 5th week, it could be either or, whatever. I'd probably be a podcast video, but yeah. So with that being said, my podcast, I'm going to be posting the audio on Wednesdays and then the video on Thursdays, the 1st and 3rd week of each month. So that was like a 20-minute update on like podcasting and everything. So now that we got all that out of the way, that's not even the like point of this video. I just want to get that out the way. So, and I was going to try to make it to where I was going to try to make my podcast shorter, like 30 to 45 minutes. But due to the fact that this is already 20 minutes and I just did an update, we're going to scratch that. I will try to make different like videos like shorter, but TBH, I like talking. I really do. And if you don't like listening to me for an hour, then that's fine. Just look on the video. Just give me the view and move on by your life. I don't know. But I like talking and I like watching hour-long content. So if I'm hoping I'm entertaining enough for an hour to listen to or watch, but hey, who knows? Anyway, now let's get into the actual topic of this podcast. So like I said, like I said in the beginning of this podcast, it's a new year. It's 2022. And I would have a recap on like 2021. I was gonna make a whole like YouTube video about like goodbye 2021, dear 2022. I didn't film either of those. Well, it wasn't filming. It was a matter of just a bunch of editing, like compilation stuff like that. But you know what? I didn't do it because after my school term was over, I was like, I had to take a break because my last school term, the girlie was fighting. I was fighting. And it was hard. It was rough. Passed my classes, thank God. But I literally have never been so close to failing a class I actually need. Like I've actually failed college classes before, but they didn't count towards my GPA because I like basically I make classes to where like if I fail, they won't count towards my grade, my GPA. They won't affect my GPA. So then once that's called SUing when I went to New Paltz. And once I did that, I stopped going to class. So I was like, I don't have to go to this class anymore because if I fail it, it won't count, so it doesn't matter. So in a way, that was me basically dropping out of the class. But like I still was like on the roster and all that stuff. But like it didn't count as my grade, so I didn't care. This class, I had to take it. It was a requirement for my major, and for like 6 weeks because I missed one assignment. I was failing. I was really failing this class, and I was like, I can't do this. I was like, if I fail this class, I'm gonna drop out. Like I thought about dropping out, and I was like, because like when like you're in school and you're like when you're a college student, it's like dropping out sounds really nice, and it's like it's not because you want to like you don't like school anymore. It's because you just want to end the pain that you're going through. So I was like, I want to drop out. Like, but then I was like, if I don't pass this class, I was like, God, please, like, you gotta have me pass this class because if I don't pass this class, I'm dropping out. Like, and I'm like, and I'm saying it as a joke, but I was not joking. I was debating dropping this class. And no, that's the thing. I was debating dropping the class, but I was like, if I drop the class, I'm gonna have to take it again anyway. And the reason why I was thinking of dropping out is because I was like, if I fail this class, it wasn't like, oh, I failed this class, I'm worthless, I got an F, blah, blah. No, 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 no. I've overcome that. It was, if I fail this class, I have to take it again and I have to go through that pain again. And I was like, I can't do that. Going through it once is bad enough. I don't need it anymore. I don't need like the turmoil, the pain, the agony of that class was devastating. I was going through it. And the reason why I didn't like this class is because I felt stupid, and I don't like feeling stupid for a lot of reasons. That's a whole history lesson that we don't need to get into. That's for a therapist to listen to. But I don't like feeling stupid. I don't like feeling stupid, and that caused me to feel stupid because I was not grasping. But here's the thing. Like I said, because I missed one assignment and it was a presentation and I didn't know how to do the presentation, so I just didn't do it, and I wasn't gonna do it late, but then I was like, I don't really care. Let me focus on other things because I had again too much on my plate to like really do that. And then I was like, homie, Shorty was failing the whole time for 6 weeks straight, and I was like, wow. So I ended up getting a B minus in that class, and I was like, I've never been so grateful for a B minus in my entire life. In my entire life. I was like, wow. A B minus? Thank you. Oh my gosh. So yeah, so that was a good way to end 2021 with a B minus in a class that brought me pain, that brought me agony, that brought me misery. I was like, yo. And then my professor, she like, towards the end, she was a little bit iffy. And I was just like, first of all, I'm failing your class. Now you want to be iffy like this? And I'm not going to get into details about it because I'm like, I hope I don't ever have her again, to be honest. But if I do, I don't want to like, say bad things, blah, blah. So, to like recap 2021, a lot of things happened in 2021, and I have mixed feelings about that year. I have mixed feelings. They're not mixed feelings. I'm lying. I don't have mixed feelings. I know how I feel about the year, but I'm not gonna. Yeah. 2021 was interesting. The prayer that I prayed for, I asked for God to help me with one thing. I'm not gonna say what it was, but I asked and He delivered. I asked Him to like deliver me, to like help me overcome and like have it be like not an issue anymore. And He was like, how about you just give me your hand and I'll walk you through it. And I was like, okay. Yo, I had some roller coasters. I had some ups and I had some downs. Surely had downs. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, a lot of good things happened. I went out the country for the first time. I went on plane. Well, I went on a plane for the first time. My family got a car. I haven't driven it yet, actually. It's been like 3 months that I haven't driven it yet, but I'm gonna drive it soon. Like probably tomorrow or like Sunday. But yeah, I'm gonna drive it soon. Um, I think that's it. I mean, I had a good Christmas. I really did have a good Christmas. It was really nice. Um, that's all I can say. That's the positive. That's the only positive things I can say about it. TBH. Or actually no. Well, another positive thing. Well, I'll get into the other positive things I'm gonna think about. But I bought a bunch of concert tickets. Well, one I bought like recently, but like I bought 2 concert tickets in 2021. So I'm going to a bunch of concerts this year. I'm going to like 3, and I'm so excited. I'm trying to get concert tickets for one in February, but we gotta see about those. I might be going to 4, but I have 3 solidified so far. I'm going to see, and they're all my top 5 artists. Anyway, I'm gonna see Tame Impala. I'm gonna see The Wallows, and I'm gonna see AJR. Now, if you know, you know. AJR is my favorite band. They're my favorite artists. Anyway, but yeah, those are my top 5 artists, and I'm gonna see all 3 of them in 1 year. Can you imagine that? So, all yeah, people being stupid with COVID, stop it, because I want to go to my concerts, okay? Anyway, okay, but let's say a thing that I have been working on that I did pretty good with 2021 was reading. I started to read again, and I just counted all the books that I read in 2021. I read, for me being a full-time student, in undergrad and grad now, I read 21 books. Now, that's no comparison to Haley Pham, who read 69, but we're not even going to get into that because Haley Pham's a YouTuber. We have different schedules. But I read 21 books. But I started the goal in March that I wanted to read 2 books a month, because when I read a book, I can read if it's a good book, I can read it within like a week. If it's really good, I can read it. To be honest, I've read several of these books that are on this like list. I'm gonna get into them. I read in a day, like literally stood up to like 5 a.m. to finish reading it because it was that good. Yeah, I read it in a single day, and that's the thing. If it's a really good book, if I'm captivated, if I'm hooked, I read it in a single day. But yeah, so I've gone into reading, and I made the goal to where I want to read 2 books a month, and I started that in March. So like I had 3 less months. So like if it was the whole year, it would have been 24 books, but because it was 9 months, I read 8. My goal was to basically read 18 books, and I surpassed that goal, and I read 21. So I don't know why I hit myself so hard. Pat me back. But yeah. So once again, so that was a really positive thing, because it really helped me remember why, like, reading other people's like novels reminds me why I want to be a writer, and inspires me to like, oh, like the emotions, the happiness that I'm feeling, the emotions that I'm feeling with reading their book, I want people to feel when they read my novels. So so I'm gonna get into them, all the books that I read in 2021. And if you don't want to watch this video, you suck, you're a loser. Yeah, so I'm gonna briefly go through all of them. So first we're gonna talk about The Catcher in the Rye. I'm sorry if I moved from the mic a little bit. I'm trying to like get you to hear me. I don't know if I will make this audio. I'm missing the audio so much. You know what? We're just gonna leave it the way it is. Okay. Anyway, so The Catcher in the Rye. The Catcher in the Rye, and Perks of Being a Wallflower. Perks of Being a Wallflower is literally my favorite novel and movie. Period. I remember watching this like years ago. When I first saw the trailer for this movie, this came out in 2012, so I was like 13. I saw Emma Watson, and I was like, I want to watch it. That's all I had to see was that she was in it. I was like, I'm sold. I turned my mic up so loud. Oh my gosh. I love Emma Watson because she's from Harry Potter, but I love Emma Watson as a person. I love her as a person. She's a great actress. She's one of my favorite actresses, and I love watching her. So whatever movie she's in, I'm like, she's in the movie, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So, but then I watched the movie, and I absolutely loved it. And there is a quote that's in this movie that is my favorite quote of all time, and it is, "We accept the love we think we deserve." I'm not going to get into the analysis of it because that's a whole different episode podcast for another time. But this movie, I watched the movie first before I read the book. I read the book this year for a class, and I'm so glad I did because I had the choice of picking books, and I picked this one because I was like, I watched the movie, I loved the movie. Let me read the book to see if it's good. I make a podcast episode about this book specifically because I have opinions about it, but it was good. Like it's good opinions, but I love this book. And after I read the book, I was like, this is my favorite novel. Period. Like my favorite novel of all time, my favorite movie of all time, and I love the book. I'm not gonna get into why I love it because if you've watched the movie, you kind of would figure out why I connect with the character Charlie. So if you watched it, you watched it. If you know, you know. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Catching the Rye. I also read this for my class. Oh, I'm gonna rate all the books I read. Why not? Oh, and my camera stopped recording. Typical. 10 out of 10. Perks being Wallflower. 10 out of 10. That's all I have to say about that. Catching the Rye. I would say it's a 7 out of 10. This is like a classic. I just read it for my class because I was supposed to compare like these two because these two kind of have like similar things of like they're like both coming of age novels, but this is like a classic one. This is like a more modern, and this book mentions this book. So, but yeah, it was okay. Like I'm not gonna get into like what each one was about because I don't really want to get into it. I just want to talk about how the books made me feel. You know what I mean? So this book, I was reading it. At some point, I was getting like kind of bored with reading it. But I was like, I need to finish it for my class work, and also I want to get into reading classics more. So, because I'm like an English major, whatever, blah, blah. I have yo, podcast episodes. I have so many ideas, but, go back to the topic. Catching the Rye, it was 7 out of 10. It was I got bored sometimes when I was reading it, but then I was like, you know what? I'm going to just keep going. All right. So, this is actually, from this pile, the only Christian book I read. But I'm gonna get into my, like, goals and resolution, my goals for 2022 later. But this book is called Don't Give the Enemy a Seat Don't Give the Enemy a Seat at Your Table by Louis Giglio. Wow, I'm sorry. By Louis. This book I read because I saw a Christian TikToker who I follow. His name is Elijah Lamb, and he recommended this book because he was reading it, and then I was like, oh, let me read it. And then this definitely is a book about like kind of sort of about mental health, not really, but it's just like, oh, like don't let the enemy have a seat at your table, and like the table of your mind or something. Well, it's so stupid. It's time to win the battle of your mind. Duh. That's why I read it. It was a good book. I would say a solid. I wouldn't say. I mean, 8 out of 10. It was really good. I did like it. It's definitely a book to like read like again, like over and over, basically. So it was a good read. I did enjoy it, and it actually inspired me to want to read more Christian books, like whether it's like fiction or nonfiction. So yeah, definitely read more Christian books this year. Now let's get into another series. This is a series called One of Us. No, that's not the first one. One of Us is Lying, and then the sequel, One of Us is Next. 10 out of 10. Well, out of 5, okay, I should be rating it 5 stars. Oh, you're right, okay. So, Perks Being Wallflowers is 5 stars. Catching the Rye is 3.5 stars. The Don't Give the Enemy a Seat at Your Table is 4 stars. 5 stars. The One of Us is Lying and One of Us is Next. This is like one of the novels that like a YouTuber named Ava Jewell, she recommended. She like had a recommended video, and then these are one of the novels that she recommended, and she said to buy both of them because once you finish the first one, you're gonna want to read the second one, and that's exactly what happened to me. I remember reading this at school, and then I finished the first one, and I was like, okay, now I got right into the next one, like I think the next day or the day of. But yeah, this series is really good, and I'm actually about to read another series that like it's giving me like the same vibes based on just the covers. But yeah, I read these, and the author's gonna come up with a third one. I'm really excited. But also, this One of Us is Lying became a Peacock series, but I don't have Peacock. Peacock also stole The Office from Netflix, so I'm very upset with them. But I don't have Peacock, so I didn't get to watch the show. But hopefully, I get to watch the show somehow. But I hope the show is good. I mean, I've seen reviews of it, and the one review that I saw was like, "Oh, it's really good." So I'm having high hopes. But so when I do watch it, oh my gosh, So when I do watch it, it'll be good. But I would say 5 stars for the series, for like both books. I do not know what to put. I did not think of how to pile these books when I put them away, but it's okay. It's okay. Okay. So the next two, I'm gonna say I didn't have these in any order. I just took them right off my bookshelf. So next is Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Naveen. There's another book of hers I read in here that, wow, so good. This book is really good. It's really cute. I would say 4 to 5 stars. This is a really cute. This is a novel that had. I don't think this will be. I think technically this will be a romance novel. Hot take. I don't like romance novels. We're not gonna get into it, but I just want to put that out there. But I don't like romance. I don't like novels that are meant to be specifically only romance. But I love romance in novels. I'm not gonna explain that, but that's just how I feel. But this is a novel that the main focus isn't the romance, but well, actually, technically it is. Whatever. But I'm not getting into it. But this book shows romance really good, and I like it a lot. And it's about a girl and a guy. Well, obviously, not obviously. I said that wrong. I'm so moved to this book. 4 to 5 stars. We're not gonna get into that. It's a good book. That's all I gotta say. This book, my camera battery's dying. That is terrible. Wow, I'm so upset right now. Okay, hold on 1 second. Alright, we alive and kicking. We got a new camera battery. I don't know how long it's gonna last, so I'm gonna have to speed up a little bit. But this book, The Silent Patient, yo, 5 out of 5 stars. This is like an inspiration for like writing like psychological thrillers. Yo, this book, the plot twist, nah. I think I read this, like, there's very few books that when I read the plot twist, my jaw drops. I was like, yo, this book was, I just cracked my wrist. This book was good. But apparently his second novel is not that good. People, like, kind of say it's kind of bad, but I kind of want to still read it to, like, you know. But this was a recent, this came out in 2019. This book is good. That's all I have to say. 5 out of 5 stars. The next two books I'm going to talk about, this is called Today Will Be Different. This is the same author that wrote a book, Where'd You Go, Bernadette. I actually watched the movie. I didn't read the book, Where'd You Go, Bernadette, but I watched the movie. And it was like a weird movie, but it was actually kind of good. Like, I watched it with my mom, and I was like, this is actually kind of a good movie. But yeah, this is the same author that wrote that book, so I went to read another book of hers. And this is actually one of the books that, like, when I read it in a single day, because I was like, it's good. So I read it literally in less than 24 hours. This book was good. That's all I have to say. I guess I would say this book is like kind of just about like, I think a girl like mentally just like kind of not spiraling, but like, well, it says Eleanor Flood is a mess. She's erratic, scattered, and constantly getting things wrong. Dates, names, times. She resorts to calling everything amazing because the right word always seems to be just out of reach. But all that's about to change because today she vows will be different. Today she'll be her best self. So that's the first like paragraph of like what the book is about. But it's kind of just like a wild adventure of like a woman like going through like kind of like a mental crisis. Not a mental crisis, but like kind of like just going through it. But like it's not like a sad thing. It's like kind of like it's like, to like lack of a better term, it kind of romanticizes going through like a mental breakdown kind of sort of, but like it ends happy. Like it's overall a happy novel, but you can tell there's something going on with her mentally. But like it's a really good book, and I read it in a day. I would say 4 to 5 stars. I did really enjoy this book when I read it because I read it in a whole day, so obviously I liked it enough. The Complete Persepolis. Because this says The Complete Persepolis because it has both book 1 and book 2. So the first book, if it would show it, hold on, let me get, no, it's not showing it. Okay, but this is a graphic novel based on a true story of the author, Marjane Satrapi. It was about her childhood growing up during the Iraq Revolution, like the wars that went on and everything like that. I have loved this since like high school because I remember in high school I had to read the first book. I forgot what it's called, but it's just like it's a red book Maybe no, I won't pop it up because I didn't know. But it's a red book, and the first book was really good. And then I remember reading the second book, like I think either on my own time or something. But I read both books separately, and I was like, wow, this is so good. So I wanted to own them. And then I had a class in college where it was like my transnational literature class, and that class was really fun. The professor was really nice, and we one of the books that we read in the class was the complete Persepolis, but we had to read both books, I think. And I had the perfect opportunity to buy the book, not just to rent it, to buy it. And I rented the book, and I gave it back, and I was like, why didn't I just buy the book? I know I want to have a copy. Why didn't I just buy the book? A fool. I'm a fool. That's all I have to say. But I finally bought the book, and I reread it this year. And every time I read it, I love it. And I finally watched the animation for it. I've been wanting to watch animation for a long time. I finally watched it. 5 out of 5 stars. I love this, like these two like mini series, and I probably will go back to it every now and then. I know what happens, but like sometimes I just like to reread it. I reread this book. Technically, like I read the first one 3 times, and then I read the second one twice, including like the one time I read both of them together. So yeah, now I have the complete Persepolis, which I'm so happy about. So yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. I really love this book. I love the 2 graphic novels, and yeah. Next 2 books. This one is just Breathe. I would say, I would say 3.5 stars. 3.5. It's a YA romance. I sound so annoyed when I said that. It's a YA I think it's because I'm at fault to like, because I said I didn't like romance novels, but here I am giving another romance novel that I read and I did enjoy. But whatever. This is a YA romance. I would say 3.5 out of 5. I did like the book. I wouldn't like calling it 4 out of 5. I'm like 3.5. 3.5 out of 5. It was a really good book though. I do recommend reading this. I'm not gonna go into what it was about, but I remember this was a very impulse buy because I wasn't supposed to buy this book. I was after I watched the movie The French Dispatch, and that movie was good. I really liked it. It was an artsy movie, but I really enjoyed it. I went by myself to go see it, and then I was coming home, and I saw this bookstore called Shakespeare and Co. I passed by it, and I was like, let me go back and just take a little peek. And then I went in just to look around, but of course, when you have a writer and a bookworm that goes into a bookstore, you don't just browse. You browse to eventually buy. And I bought this book and like a button that said Book Scout. It was really cute. It's like on my tote bag, and I don't feel like getting up to go take it down, so whatever. But yeah, it was a cute button, and this was a really good book. I read it, I think, in like a few days. Like after I read it, like I think 2 or 3 days after I bought it. It was really good. I do recommend. 3.5 stars. Now this is one of the books. This is called The Life Between Oceans. This is actually a movie. I never watched the movie. I kind of don't care to watch it, to be honest. This book took me like a few years to read because I kept on forgetting I had it, and I forced myself to finish it. Now this book, I would say 3 stars, 3 out of 5, because I think if I would have finished it at an appropriate time, like read it and finished it within a few days, the book overall is really good, but it took me so long to read it that I was getting bored of reading it, so that's why I'm giving it 3 out of 5 stars. But I think if I would have read it, I would have probably given it 4 out of 5 stars because the story is pretty good. Like the storyline, it's crazy. 4 out of 5 stars. No, 4 out of 5. We'll say 4 out of 5 stars. 4 out of 5 stars. If you want to read it, you should. This is a pretty good book. So I'm gonna move on. These are 2 books that I was supposed to read for my seminar class, like in spring of 2020. But then COVID happened, then we all went home, and I didn't finish reading them until this year. So I started them, but I finished them this year. Both books also, it was a bore to finish because I started them midway and there was a lot. But Station 11, this is now a HBO series. It's a limited series, which sucks because I wish they would give more seasons for it, but I haven't watched it yet, but I'm excited to watch it. Station 11, this book is actually really good. I would say I would give it a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 stars. This book is really good, and it's just the timing of me reading this book was literally because I got it my spring semester 2020 is when my professor we was reading it, and we were assigned to read this book right when the pandemic was starting. Like legit when the pandemic was starting. Like March 13th. Like that week we was reading this book. And she was like, well, I didn't mean for us to like be reading it at this type of time. This wasn't ideal. And then after a few days, we had to go home. So, well, I went home, but I was like, wow, some timing. But it was crazy. But, and mind you, this book came out in like 2019. This book came out recently, but like not, it didn't come out in 2020. It came out 2019 or something like that. But yeah, this book is now a limited series, so I'm very excited to watch it. I hope it's really good. But this book is good. It's really good. I do rate 4 to 5 stars, I would say. And then this is also, I didn't realize this was a classic, but it is a classic by Sylvia Plath. Unfortunately, this is the only novel she written because then she offed herself and then she died. She died a brutal death too. If you could look it up yourself. I'm not gonna say how she died, but I looked it up. Well, no, I read it because I was doing readings about her, and then I read how she died, and I was like, wow, I know you could do that. But anyway, The Bell Jar is loose. It's a semi autobiographic novel. It's semi because it's like it's based off her life, but like she changed some things, which I feel like I would definitely do because I got some novels to write about my life. Anyway, but yeah, this is The Bell Jar. This I would say, if I would have read it in the appropriate time, I would also say 4 to 5 stars because this book was actually really good. It is, and it's about her dealing with her mental health. But this was like written in the 1950s. So this is when like shock therapy was like a thing. Like it was like not recommended, but it was like kind of forced upon certain patients. Like if they weren't doing well, they were forced to take shock therapy. You ain't electrocuting me to make me feel better mentally. No. No. Give me a pill. I'd rather take a pill. I'd rather be on meds than have shock therapy because that messes with your brain and then it could. No. So that's like she did experience that in the book, her character and her in real life. And this was a very interesting book to read about her, like her visit to the psych ward and stuff, blah, blah. It was a good book. 4 to 5 stars, I will say. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm starting to cry just thinking about this book. This book, I'm gonna have a separate like episode about like things that make me videos and movies that make me cry, but like good tears. Oh, this camera battery's dying too. I'm so upset right now. I'll come back in a second. Okay, so since both my batteries died, we're gonna have to film like this. I kind of like this angle better. This is on my phone, so I'm sorry if the audio, like, I can't talk into the mic is basically useless now. But we're gonna just pretend. We're gonna just have it here just to remember how good the audio could be, but isn't. So, um, but yes, oh, you can see my decorations. Look, I decorated my wall more. I have like posters and like that Mexico license plate. I have like more pictures, like my Polaroids and stuff. It's cute, it's cute. And my flags. Okay, that's, I'm exposed. These are lights that I had from my college, and then like for some reason they won't stay on my wall. They keep falling down, and like they were up for like 2 days, and I was like, perfect. They've been up for 2 days. They would stay up. The next night, like last night, they fell, and I was like, when is it my turn to be happy? But anyway, so I'm gonna get into these are 3 books that are from the same author, Adam Severa. I actually had to do a presentation for his works in actually these 3 books exactly, for my class that brought me misery. Little Celsius break. This book, the one I was starting to cry about, this is called They Both Die at the End. They both die at the end. I'm gonna just do one by one. So, they both die at the end. This book, 5 out of 5 stars. And it's like, well, the title gives away what happens, but they live in a society where you get told 24 hours before you die, you either call, hey buddy, you're dying in 24 hours, live life, YOLO, and then they have to live their life the best way they can. And then there's this company that helps people that like are knowing they're gonna die within 24 hours. Like, hey, here's some activities you can do, and here's some money to go do them. Live your best life, have fun. And 2 of the boys, they end up becoming friends because they're both dying on the same day. They become friends, etc., etc. And just thinking about this book, it breaks me tears. It brings me tears. There's a certain, like, cause when you see, oh my gosh, I'll just say it. One of them, I think the other one we do see how he dies, but the first one, my boy, cause the two characters are named Mateo and Rufus. My boy Mateo, oh, I'm gonna cry. Every time I think about his death, it's just because it's sad because it was like kind of avoidable because because when he got the call that he was gonna die, so he was like, I don't have to do this thing then since I'm dying anyway. And the thing that he was like, I don't have to do this is the reason why he died. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, he literally could have avoided his death. But anyway, that's the point. I'll get into a whole podcast. I'll do podcast episodes about books that I loved and like why and blah blah. But yeah, that book made me cry. But like it was good. Anyway, next book. History is All You Love Me. This book, I'm not gonna lie, this book, the first 18 pages, I had to stop reading the book. I was like, I have to put this down, and like I had to take a little hiatus from it, like a good like month or two. I think it wasn't a month. I think it was like a good like week. I was like, I can't do this, because like it's basically about a boy dealing with losing his like best friend slash first love, because like they drowned in like a beach accident, and the way he's dealing with the grief. And this book, out of all well, actually, this book is kind of also really, it's it's she's a little dark, but it ends on a happy note though. But well, yeah, I would say happy note. But yeah, that book, oh, I would say 4 out of 5, 4.5, 4.5 out of 5 stars. This book is really good. More happy than not, bruh. Bruh, this book is. I read this for I use this, like I said, for my class that brought me pain. I don't even know how to explain it without mentioning things that will make some people feel icky about it, because they're just terrible people that just don't like people. But this book is good. This book is also kind of a little dark. But I would also say 4.5 out of 5 stars, because this book, I don't know, this book was really good. I really enjoyed it. That's all I'm saying. Moving on. So the next 3, let me do this one. All the Bright Places. This was the, also by Jennifer Naveen. She was the one that wrote Holding On to the Universe. Oh, I didn't even get to mention it. Holding On to the Universe, this is, I actually watched it. This is a Netflix original movie. I watched the movie with my mom, but I watched it as a movie, and then I found that it was a book, and I was like, oh, I had to buy the book. Bought the book, read it. I cried, but the reason why I cried, this book goes into more details about like a suicide. This goes into more details about like the graphics of how the person looked, which wasn't shown in the movie, thank God. But I cried for different reasons for this book, because like one of my friends was like going through it, and I was like reading. What the heck? Oh, I just yo, I just read a weird DM, and I don't even. Anyway, I don't even understand. What the heck? That was weird. Okay, I gotta answer that later. Anyway, maybe should I just block them? Oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do with that. Like, some person just like asked me to like come over, and I'm like, I never made an issue that I was gonna be seeing them. What? That was weird. Anyway, that totally distracted me. I really can't even like. I got a DM from some guy, and it was like, when are you coming over on Sunday? And I'm like, I didn't even say I was coming. I didn't even talk to you for like 2 days. What? Anyway, this, I dropped the book. Yeah. Anyway, my hair smells good. That was right. The police are getting someone. I'm just keep going. This book is good. I would say 4.5 out of 5. 4.5 out of 5 stars. This book was good. The movie was great. Book was good. But I was gonna say about holding on to the universe, that book is becoming a movie. And the thing is, this the what I like about the movie for this one, the movie was written by Jennifer Naveen. Like, she wrote the screenplay, she wrote the script for the movie. And I find the thing that when books become movies, 9 times out of 10, the people that read the book before they watch the movie, they get disappointed because they're like, "Oh, that isn't what I expected it." Because like they had expectations for the book, and then it didn't come to pass with the movie. But because I watched the movie first and then I read the book, I wasn't like dissatisfied. Like, there were like a few details that weren't in it, but to be honest, I feel like when the author writes the script for the movie, it's almost exactly the same because it's the same person having the same concept for a movie. Whereas when it's a book that becomes a movie and a different person writes the movie, they have different ideas of the same story. So it's like it's not the same. So that's why I think the movie and the book were both really good. Like, they were equally the same. I think the only difference is that, like, in the book, the love interest, like the guy interest, is white, and in the movie he's black. That's like literally the only difference I could find. And like the graphics of like the guy's suicide, um, is like more like there's a detail that they had in here. Like, in the movie, we just know that he offed himself, but in the book, she sees his body, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that happened, and I'm glad they took it out because I think that would be even worse. But yeah, so like little details changed, but like overall the story was still the same. And the same thing with the book, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. The author, Stefan Chbosky, he wrote the script for the movie, so that's also why the book and novel are both my favorite. But yeah, so I love this book. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Let's move on. Let's do this one. Everything. Oh, I did not read this year. Why did I put this in here? I didn't read. So I read 20 books this year. Last 2021. It's already in this pile. I didn't. I No. I think I did watch the movie, but I don't remember watching it. I feel like I did, but I don't remember. But I read this book in a day. I got this. I got this my freshman year of college. So I don't know why this was in. I just put it in the pile. But I read this my freshman year of college, and I bought this book and the Harry Potter book, The Cursed Child. That's like the 8th book to the series, but they didn't. They're not gonna make it a movie, which I'm upset about. But whatever. I bought that book, the Harry Potter book, and then I bought this book at the bookstore, and then I read them separately. Like, I read the Harry Potter book in a day, and I read this book in a day because they were both equally really good. But yeah, I would say this is like, because I read it in a day, I would say 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was really good. I know that Harry Potter book, I'll probably say 5 out of 5. I vaguely remember the book, so I might want to read it again, but it's written as a play. It's not written as a movie, it's written as a play. So that's the only difference, but it was really good. That Harry Potter book, I would say 5 out of 5. Now this one. It's kind of a funny story. This is also a novel written by someone that off themselves. This was actually a movie. Now, this is an example of a book that became a movie, and I didn't like the movie that much. I thought the movie was kind of like, eh. Like, the movie, I would say 3 out of 5 stars, maybe 2.5. Like, it was funny. I remember watching it, like, when I was, like, younger. And then I remember, like seeing this, like, I was, like, on Amazon for something. And I saw this book, and I was like, why does the title sound familiar? And I bought the book. No, I didn't. I was like, this book is probably a movie. And then I found out it was a movie. And I'm pretty sure it's because I watched the movie before, because it had Emma Roberts in it. Because I was like, I feel like this movie and I was like, oh yeah, it has Emma Roberts in it. I remember now. So I think I watched the movie a while ago. But then I read the book. The book was really good. It's about the authors. Like, he went to the psych ward. No, he went to a mental hospital. No, a hospital. Because there's a difference between a ward and a hospital. Like, the hospital, or there's one location, you're in there for a few days up to a month. With another one, oh, no, that's an institution. Whatever. But he went to the one where he was in one for he was in one of the places where you go in there for he was in it for 5 days. Let me look at the back, because the back says how long he was there for. I don't know why I'm acting like as if I can't just, a hospital. There you go. He was in a psychiatric, hospital. No, he was in a Methodist hospital, but he was in the adult psychiatric section because the kids section was full. So he was like 16 in the adult section, but he wasn't the only teenager in the adult section, which you see in the movie and in the book too. But yeah, it's kind of a funny story because, you know, he goes to the hospital and he ends up falling in love, which is kind of weird, but it's like kind of like a comedy. I feel like this definitely has like, a lot of comedy aspects, and like the font is huge. Like look at that, font's huge. Um, I like this book. I think the book is really good. I definitely read a lot of books this year about, well, last year about like mental health, but like reading too many of those all at once. Like after I read that book, I was like, because I just finished reading the books being Wallflower, Catching a Rye, and I think I read History So You Love Me, and then I read that book, and I was like, I gotta stop because if I keep reading more, no. Oh, last two. Okay, I'm gonna do this one. Call Me by Your Name. I did not like this book. I'm gonna say it. I said it when I made my recommendation book video. This is the one book out of the seven that I talked about that I did not like. It's just not my writing. It's just like the book is written. Oh, did I rate that other one? I don't know if I rate this one, but I would give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. This book I would honestly say it 3 out of 5 because it, even though I don't like the writing it's well written. It's just not my type of writing that I enjoy to read, and I don't really remember what it was about the writing. We're definitely in the main character's head a lot. Um, it's like it's kind of graphic with certain scenes, so you definitely have to be like, but the movie, oh my gosh, I did not like the movie. I think that the movie was good. It was the cinematic wise, it was like a pretty movie, but it ended on a bad part of the book, and I was like, you're gonna end it on that? So I'll make a whole other like episode about that. But this book I didn't like that much, but it's good writing. It's just not my writing that I enjoy to read. So I would say 3 out of 5 stars. I would still recommend it, but like just with caution. Like, you might not like it, but I still think it's a good book. And the last book that I read in 2021 is We Were Liars. I think this was one of the books that actually oh, that's really interesting. These were the first 2 books I actually read in March that I was like starting off my reading for 2 months, every like 2 books a month. 5 out of 5, hands down. This book, the plot twist, my jaw dropped. I remember reading the when I got to the plot twist. When I got to the plot twist of this book, I literally had to put the book down. I was like, I'm not okay right now. I was like, what the heck? How you gonna do that to me? Like as if the book's about me. I was like, what? My jaw dropped. I was like such in disbelief. I was like, there's no way. Like, there's no way. Like, huh? Anyway, but yeah, that was definitely mouth drop. I really want this to be a movie. I really do. E. Lockhart, write the script. Or maybe let me write it for you, Ruby. I will read this book 10,000 times to write the script. Oh, no. I did read 21 books. There's one more that I forgot. Hold on. This is another book. So this is the last book for this section. This is La Bizona. I think this is werewolf in Spanish. I don't know why I did that. This book I think I finished in a day as well. This book 5 out of 5. The reason why I forgot about it because it was in my tote bag because I was gonna read it again because I wanted to read it again, but I bought new books, so I'm not gonna read it again. But this is definitely like a spin-off of Harry Potter, but for like Latinos and Latinas. And I'm here for it. This book was good. Like this is like a fantasy book and it was good. But the main character is a woman. Period. That's all I'll say about that. But this book was good. And the main character loves Harry Potter, and I was like, period. As you should. I love this book. It was really good. And I was gonna read it again. I'm going to read it again probably, but just not right now because I have like 3 more books to read and then other books to read that I just bought. But yeah, so those are all the books I read in 2021. Oh yeah, 5 out of 5 I said. Yeah, 5 out of 5. So this pile is like wobbling. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna end this this episode because now I know it's over an hour. But I was talking about books, and you can tell I was excited. It brought me joy. I don't know why did I do that? I was having here to pretend I was talking into the mic. Let me just... You can't hear a single thing on that, but it's okay. But yeah, so I'm going to now show you 3 books that I bought literally yesterday because, I'm going to show you, like, more updates. Like, to end this episode. What was I gonna say? I I'm writing a book. I'm writing a novel. I was working on the outline in actually one of my classes, my story and concept class last semester, which I loved that class. I got an A in it, as I should. The professor was really nice. He gave some feedback that I was like, okay, all right, okay. But it was good feedback. It was good feedback, and I enjoyed the class. I love creative classes. I love classes I can be creative in. I thrive as a creative person. I need to be creative. I can't be bored, because then I'll be miserable. So yeah. Um, so that class was good, and I finished my outline for my novel, and now I started writing it yesterday. I'm probably going to another podcast about like my schedule and how, because like when I think about everything I have on my plate, I have a lot on my plate. I think kind of all my life I've had to juggle a bunch of different things, like be a multitasker to be productive, but also it was to be productive to make sure like I didn't have like too much free time, and then but then it ends up being where I didn't have any free time, but whatever. And now I'm just used to it, and so I feel like when I have too much free time, I'm like, what do I do now? I'm not like constantly stressed about all the stuff I have to do. What am I supposed to do now? Like, I don't know, but like I'm used to it at this point, so I have a lot on my plate. Like I have like my grad school, doing YouTube and podcasting, and then I'm doing my novel writing, and I have other responsibilities, and it's like I told my other best friend about everything I'm doing, and she was like, girl, that sounds like a lot you're doing. I'm like, it is, but she's also has a lot on her plate, so we out here doing the most for our 20s as we should. But yeah, so I'm gonna show you the books that I'm going to read that I just bought yesterday, and I'm very excited for these. Okay, I didn't. Okay, so the three books that I bought yesterday, are a good what a good girl's guide to murder. It's about a girl. It's like I think it's a murder mystery, but it's about a girl looking into uh like hmm? It's a girl digging deep into a murder case, like a closed case. Her digging into it and then discovering secrets about it. So that's this book. This is actually a series. It has three books, but like I said, when I went to the bookstore and I got that Just Breathe book and I was browsing at the bookstore, I'm just gonna browse. Girl, you knew I was gonna buy a book. So I bought the book and I went to Barnes and Nobles, thinking that I was gonna just sit there because I was looking for a seat. I didn't get into what I did yesterday, but I was going there specifically so that way I can um find a seat, because yesterday I went to a bookstore because I was like, I want to go to a bookstore, get a cup of coffee, and then be the typical writer that goes to coffee to write a novel. I don't want to do that. I want to be a stereotype for once. That was a stereotype that I was okay with dealing with, basically, and I did it. But in the bookstore that I went to, I had coffee. Their coffee was like not good. They didn't have a bathroom, and I had to really pee, so I had to leave to go to a Star. I was gonna go to Barnes and Nobles. Barnes and Nobles, the restrooms aren't in service, so I was like, okay. So I went to a Starbucks to pee. Then I bought food from there because I was like, I didn't know if they weren't gonna allow non-customers to use bathrooms, so I bought something in case. And then I did work there, and I went to Barnes and Nobles because I got bored sitting at Starbucks for like an hour or two, and my butt was hurting. So I was like, I'm gonna get up and walk around, and I was getting bored in my setting. So then I went to Barnes and Nobles to find a seat so I could continue writing, and then I was looking around the books. Instead of just going straight to find seats, I was like, let me just look around. Because I have a weird thing where like if I'm in the store, as I feel like I'm doing something else, people are gonna judge me. I'm not gonna get into it, but I just had the weird impulse to automatically just look at books so that way I can look normal. I don't know. But then I ended up buying 3 books. So this is the first book that I bought because this was on my to be purchased, like the whole 3 for months. So I saw it and I was like, it's only $11, even though Amazon's like $9.30 something, only $1 more. But I was like, I'd rather support Barnes and Nobles than support Amazon because Jeff Bezos has enough money and Amazon workers get treated very poorly. So I was like, you know what, Barnes and Nobles deserves my money. They do. Give me a job, Barnes and Nobles. I would love to work here. I would honestly love to work at Barnes and Nobles. I would. Anyway, the next book is The Inheritance Games. This is also a series. This has 2 books, and I think this is like I don't really know what this book is about. It's kind of like a it's like the movie Escape Room. It's kind of like that, like a puzzle mystery story. It's a mystery story basically. Like Knives Out. Someone said that this book is like similar to Knives Out, and Knives Out the movie is really good. I love that movie. So this is actually kind of almost identical to Knives Out. Anyway, oh, anyway, but yeah, this is really good. Oh, I didn't read it yet. I don't know why I'm putting this on the list of books that I read. I haven't read it yet. Okay, but yeah, I bought this book. This also has a second book. They had the second book there. At the Barnes& and Nobles, they only had this one, so that's why I bought this one. They had the second one there, but it was a hardcover and it was $18, and I was like, no. I was like, well, I'm gonna wait to buy it from Amazon for $12.72. Thank you very much. So I didn't buy the second one, but I'm gonna buy the second one soon. Last book I bought on Barnes& and Nobles yesterday was If We Were Villains. This is kind of like, this has like this is like the characters talk about Shakespeare kind of a lot, and hot take, I don't like Shakespeare because I don't understand them. That's the only reason why. I think the one thing I do like about one of his plays I do like is Hamlet. I think it's very interesting because I watched the movie adaptation of it. It was actually kind of cool. The one with Mel Gibson in it. I also watched Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh my gosh, let's not even talk about it. But that movie was good. But they talk about Shakespeare a lot in this one. But I think I'm gonna still like it because it's about like basically like something bad went down. Like it was a group of friends that like kind of like preppy, like intelligent people, like dark academia. This is like people said this gives dark academia vibes, which I'm all for. If you've seen dark academia outfits, that's how I'm trying to be when I become a professor. I want to dress like that because that is hot. Anyway, I'm not trying to. I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, this is really good. I saw her, so I'm excited to read this. And just a random another thing. Look at the like. You would think this book, you would think this book is the one with the longest pages. I looked at each one to see how much pages this is. These each of them are. This is the list. This has like 350 something pages. This has 374, I think. This has 389. But like when you look at it this way, this is like the biggest one. And now it's kind of confusing. It might be the type of paper that it's printed on, but it's very interesting. But these are the 3 books that I bought. I'm probably gonna read this one because this one gives me One of Us Is Lying vibes, the series. So I'm very excited to read this. But I also just took this off. I also got this book. I technically got this book last year, but I still want to show it. And it's called a little book on the Christian life. It's by John Calvin. I saw a different Christian TikToker. Her name is Yasmin, and she was reading this, and she was like, "Oh, recommend it," and I was like, "Okay, I'll probably read it." But yeah, so I haven't read it yet, but I'm gonna read it soon. But yeah, those are like the books that are on my TBR to be read. I'm really excited for these books, and now I'm gonna get into my like goals for 2022. I felt like this year I was like really excited for this year to be the year of success because I was like, last year I was like, all right, it's time for you to help me, like God help me mentally. And boy did he was like, I'm not gonna deliver you from that, but I'm gonna like help you figure out how to like deal with it. I'm like, oh, this hurts, but okay. Yeah. So this year I was like, this year's gonna be the year of success. Like creative success, financial, like this is the time for me to bloom, for me to blossom. This is my bamboo season, all right? This is my time to shine, and I had to write a novel first and become consistent with all my platforms so I can actually show God that I that I can handle an audience, because with more followers comes more comments and possible hate comments. I have a video that little tangent. I have a video that got a good amount of hate comments, kind of, sort of, and I'm gonna make a podcast episode reading them because now I think when it first came out, I was like, no, I remember this first guy that like he was kind of sending me hate, and I was like going back and forth with this guy for like days. No, it was like a day, and I got bored. I was like, you know what, this ain't worth it. I was like, you are not worth my time. But at first, I was like heated. I was like, who are you? Because I'm all for confrontation, and not to be disrespectful, to be like, oh, like I'm better than you, but like if I see people do something wrong, I'm gonna correct you respectfully. Like, yeah. So then I got tired of it and I got bored of it. And then I remember like months later I was getting more hate comments and I was like, should I make an apology video or something? I was going to. But then when I was gonna film it, I was like, no, because these people are just being bitter. And then there's a few comments that are on there. They're like, oh my god, his comments are so disgusting. Like, I'm so sorry you had to deal with this. And I'm like, heart. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just like that. I feel like that was like a good taste of like what will happen when I get a bigger platform, because there's gonna be more people that have like I gave an opinion. It was an unpopular opinion. Basically, like I was basically saying that like people should not, like with college students, like it's kind of a thing where it's like depending on your major, it depends on like your self-worth. Like if you, like I basically said that when people like go to school for their creative passions, they get like disrespected like kind of severely, and I was like, I don't think that's fair. That was basically the moral of my video, and I used STEM majors as an example, and I made it perfectly clear in the video that I was like, I'm not saying all STEM majors. No, 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 no. Because my best friend, one of my best friends is a STEM, like she's in STEM, like one of them, and she does not like invalidate my major. She literally is like, she understands that like she's a like trying to be a nurse, and I'm like, girly, you doing the damn thing. But then when she looks at my world, she's like, girly, you're doing the damn thing. Like we respect each other's like majors and like understand that each major has their own difficulties. And I'm like, not everyone's like that. A lot of STEM majors are more like, oh, I'm STEM and I'm better than everyone because you're trying to be a doctor. Like, congrats, thanks, but like you're not better than someone because you want to be a doctor. Hot take. No. So that's what basically what I said in the video, and a lot of people were mad. They were mad because I said them STEM majors need to stop being bullies. And they were like, and then also, not to like make this about gender, but all the comments were from men. And I was like, wow. Not saying all men are like that, but like the STEM men be angry. They do be angry. And I'm like, yo, are y'all sad? Do y'all not have a good life that you gotta let your anger out on me? And someone actually made a comment on my video a few days ago. Like, I'm still getting comments on this video. It's not my most viewed video. It's almost at 2,000 views. It's at 1.9k views. It's almost at 2,000 views. I think it's still my most disliked video. But it has more likes than dislikes, so I'm okay with it. But some guy recently was like, I had two comments about like people saying, oh, like, you know what you really should get good at writing? Oh, would you like fries with that? And it was like almost the exact same. Like another guy said that, like, oh, like you should be practicing how to write people's like orders because I'm gonna be working at like a fast food restaurant. And I was just like, okay. Like, so I replied to the comment because I'm like, I'm not gonna like, I mean, I was just like, oh, I was like, you must be miserable for you to make a comment like that on someone's like channel. I'm like, you must be really sad with your life. So I was just like, I hope you feel better letting your anger out on someone that has a different opinion than you. Hope you thrive in life though, you know? Like, it's not being like, oh, I hope you thrive. Like, no, I was being genuine. I'm like, I hope you thrive in life, but like, I hope you realize that like your comment was stupid and petty, and you just letting your anger out. I'm like, I'm sad that your life is the way it is. If it's that miserable for you to make a hate comment, because I feel like hurt people. So people that make hate comments, they're just miserable and want to share the misery, because misery loves company. But also they want to let their anger out because they can't let it out on one person, so they're letting it out on another. That's why bullies are bullies, because they just letting their anger out on other people because they're getting bullied at home or something, whatever. So I was like, I hope that made you feel better. That's all I said. And he was like, yep. He was like, you're welcome. I'm like, that didn't even make sense, but okay. But yeah, so that I'm gonna make a whole video. I'm gonna read the comments because I think it's funny now that people make comments, and it's like people make hate comments. I think like it's like 2 or 3 video comments on it that are like actually nice. I think that has like almost 60 comments, and from my channel it's a lot, and like a good like 98% of them are hate comments. And I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, you guys are giving me the algorithm. You're showing the algorithm that people want to comment on these videos, but people are still like liking the video. So it's not as if like it's disliked for the right reasons. It's disliked because people just don't agree and are just mad that I probably called them out. So I digress. I was like, listen, I'll take it, because at the end of the day, y'all just bitter. I'm not gonna get into that's a whole other episode, but A resolution of mine, that's the whole point of this video, was the year of success. And one of them is writing my novel. I want to have the rough draft done by my birthday, which is in June. So I have a few months to get it done. But I want to have just a rough draft. And I want to have it done by the end of the year. So my goal is to have the book finished. To be like start working on getting it published by 2023. So like 2022, I have the whole year to rough draft, second draft, finalize, find an editor, agent, whatever. Like, you know, I want to have it done, like have it like final draft done by the end of the year. That's a goal of mine. Another goal, I want to have a financial platform on YouTube. I have two goals. I have a reach and a super reach. Like, you know how in college they're like, oh, what's your reach, schools, what's your super reach? My reach is 100K. I can't believe I just said that out loud. I want to hit 100K on my channel by the end. And I think the reason why I didn't like to put numbers, and it's like, I want the number for the right reasons. I know that I want it for the right reasons. It's not because I want clout. I just want financial stability. That's it. So I can like be able to like, you know, be independent. So that's why I want 100K, because I know 100K, I want 100K consistent, like good consistent viewers. Like I want subscribers that will like subscribe and be consistent with watching my channel, because you can have 3 million subscribers but then only 100K views for like each video. You know what I mean? I want the subscribe number to match up the watch time, and like, you know, I want consistent good followers, like subscribers, and I want to hit 100K by the end of the year. So I'm optimistic. I'm pretty sure with the consistency in the videos, like I'm an interesting person. I'm my default is to laugh, but I'm an interesting person, you know? I just gotta like whenever like I can be goofy, I can be silly. I just don't do it often because I don't feel comfortable doing it often. But whenever I do feel comfortable, I can do it. So I'm pretty optimistic. I'm not gonna say what my super reach is, but my goal is 100K. So tell your friends to, because like 90 over 90% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. So this is not my podcast. This is not my no. This is my podcast. This is not my YouTube channel. So if you listen to my podcast, I'm pretty sure you're subscribed to the channel. But if you're not, if you don't know I have a YouTube channel, I have a YouTube channel. So go. It's just my name on the cash. So go look it up on YouTube and watch. Thanks. But yeah, what else? YouTube. Oh, my reading. I want to continue. I would try to do more than 2 books a month, but with school, I'm like, I might just say 2 books a month. Like 2 books a month of like my own like pleasure reading, because like I have to read because I'm an English major. Like my first week of school, I already have 7 readings to do, and I'm like, it's the first week. What's going on? Anyway, but yeah, so I want to do 2 books a month, but this time I want to do more. I want to read more Christian books, because I read a lot of fiction and like other genres, and I'm like, I should read more Christian books because I feel like that'll be good. So I'm gonna read more Christian books, whether it's like Christian fiction or non-fiction. I want to read. I think for every like regular book I read, every 2 regular books I read, I want to read 1 Christian book. So basically like if I'm reading 3 books in a month, one of them, if outside of school, one of them should be a Christian book. So I'm gonna read more. So basically I would like, well, I said 2 books a month, so like 24 books. At least 10 of them should be Christian books, at least 10. So yeah, that's the goal. So basically, so my goal would be to read 10, to be 10 Christian books to read. That's my goal, to read 10 Christian books by the end of the month, by the end of the year, and to read 2 books a month outside of school. Well, some of the books I read for school, but it was also pleasure at the same time. So 2 books a month. But yeah. So I think I have like other goals. I obviously like, actually I want to work. I'm gonna get into working out more, because I'm not gonna get into my like history of like body stuff, but I do like, here's the thing. I'm at a point where I'm like, I can get my dream body. I just have to work for it, because I don't work out consistently to the point where I can, like, I literally could work out. I could do an ab workout for like a week and see results, like see myself starting to get results, because I have a pretty athletic, fit body. I've been like athletic my entire life. Like I've been in like sports and all that stuff like since I was like 5. So, and it's also genetics. Like I'm 5'7". Technically I'm not 5'7", but like I round up my height to 5'7". It's on my ID card. It's on my driver's license. So I'm 5'7". Um, but I have a pretty athletic build, so it's easy for me to have the body that I want. I just have to work for it. So it's like I'm gonna work for it. So by the summer, I'm gonna actually have a body, like the body that I want to have. Like I'm gonna tone my body up more. And it's not so that way I can look pretty, so that I could be prettier. It's solely for me, because I want it. Like I want to better my health, and also working out is good for the mental. So that's a plus. But also working out in general is good. So I want to get back to how I was in the spring of 2020. I was working out 5 to 6 times a week. But that's also because I had the gym really right across the street from my dorm. So I don't have that here, but I will work out in my room. So I'm gonna get back to doing that, working out 5 to 6 times a week. So yeah, those are the few goals of mine. I think I have others, but like I probably won't get into them because that's for me and for God. So yeah, we keep secrets. We like this. He knows all my thoughts. Y'all can't know all of them. um, but yeah, so that is the end of this podcast. This podcast is really long, but I just want to talk because I haven't filmed in like weeks. So it's like really, it was weird because I haven't filmed it so long. I'm like, I don't know how to film a video. Like what? It's been like freaking 2019, no, 2018 all over again when I first started my channel. But I'm excited for this podcast. I'm excited for my channel. I'm going to. Sorry, I had a little interruption there. What was I saying? I don't even know what I was saying. But yeah, basically, it was nice to get back into filming, and I'm very excited for this year. I have a lot of good content coming up. Like you see, all those are like, can't see, all those, all those right there are like ideas. I'm sorry if you're listening only to the audio. My video people will see, but like my court board is those YouTube videos and podcast ideas. And I like even when I was talking, I'm basically using my podcast to talk about things that I would talk about. I will make a video about, but I don't think are like interesting enough. Like I have a lot of I love talking about books. I love talking about movies. I think the movie ones I'll like make videos about, like certain ones. But like book ones, I'll probably do on my podcast. But since I have a video aspect to it now it's technically a book video, but it's from my podcast. And I think each of these books I can go into a deep dive of them and like analyze and all that stuff, but I'm excited to just talk about books. You saw how joyful, like 2021 I definitely brought joy to it with reading. Like I found my love for reading like officially again. And like even when I had to read for school, it doesn't ruin it, because I know like high school kind of ruined, like kind of put a halt to my reading, but now I'm back. I'm back with reading, so yeah. So that's it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed listening, watching, and you guys can follow my social medias. My Instagram and TikTok are just at Another Cash. You can also follow the podcast, the Instagram podcast, which is just at Random Chats with Anna. You can listen to this on whatever platform you listen to it right now. But for the video people, you can listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and other platforms as well. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm very excited. I kind of liked filming it on my phone. The only con about my phone is that I can't use good audio. Like I record the audio on my phone. So if I use my phone to record, I can't use the audio. But maybe there's a way how I can get around that. I'll see. I'll figure it out. But yeah, the video aspect is a whole new era of this. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna stop talking because now this is going on like 2 hours and it's pretty long. Okay, I'm done. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I will see you in, why is my hand in the camera? I will see you guys in my next video or podcast. Yeah. Okay, I'm stalling now. Should I end this the way I end my video in my YouTube? I don't know. But anyway, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. You'll hear from me. Well, technically, you'll see me next week because I have a YouTube video.